Hey, Dr. Kim, am I simply overeating or do I have binge eating disorder? Now, this is a common question that I get, and I'm not surprised because for some folks, it's hard to tell the difference between simply overeating, overindulging, being an emotional eater versus actually having binge eating disorder. Hey everybody, I'm Dr. Andrew Kim, MD. I'm a board-certified psychiatrist, and today we are going to go through a brief overview of the actual diagnostic criteria for binge eating disorder. And by the end of this video, it'll be very clear to you that this disorder is very different than simply overeating every once in a while. Okay, so let's jump right into it. Now, in order to meet the criteria for this disorder, you have to have each of the following. Criteria number 1. You have to have episodes of binge eating. Binge eating is defined as eating an amount of food in a short period of time that most people would consider much larger than what they would eat in a similar amount of time under similar circumstances. Okay? The other key component is a sense of a lack of control. Okay, a lack of control over the eating itself. So this can mean feeling like you couldn't control the amount you were eating. You couldn't control what you were eating. You couldn't control wanting to stop eating. You felt like I just kept going even though I wanted to stop. So this is a crucial component, okay? So it's not only eating a larger amount of food than you'd expect in a short period of time, but it's this lack of control that also needs to be a component of it, all right? So moving on to criteria number 2. Now, the binge eating episodes themselves have to have at least 3 of the following characteristics, okay? So eating faster or more rapidly than usual during these binges, okay? Eating to the point of feeling uncomfortably full, all right? Eating large amounts of food during these binges, even when you're not hungry. So you might not even be hungry, but you're eating all this food, okay? Eating by yourself, so isolating, eating alone, eating in secrecy due to the embarrassment of the amount of food that you're about to eat. Okay? And finally, this emotional component of feeling depressed, feeling disgusted in yourself, feeling guilty after these binges. Okay? So again, feeling depressed, feeling disgusted, feeling guilty after the binges occur. All right? Now, criteria number 3. This has to do with frequency. So these episodes of binge eating have to happen at least once a week, okay, at least once a week minimum for 3 months straight at least. So at least one episode a week for at least 3 months straight, okay? Criteria number 4, these episodes of binge eating, all right, they have to be happening without regular compensatory behaviors, okay? What do I mean by compensatory behaviors? I'm talking about very restrictive eating, okay? So restricting, purging or throwing up, all right? Excessively exercising. So these behaviors that you're trying to do to compensate for the binge eating, all right? So you have to have the binge eating happening without these compensatory behaviors, all right? If these compensatory behaviors are happening regularly along with the binge eating, you then have to consider other eating disorders like anorexia, bulimia, okay? So you may not have binge eating disorder, you may have one of these other 2, all right? And finally, that kind of already leads into this criteria number 5. These binge eating episodes have to be happening independently and separately from bulimia and anorexia. Okay, so those are the basic criteria. Obviously, there's more nuance and subtleties to this, but in general, those are the main criteria in order to be diagnosed with binge eating disorders. And as you can see, it's very different than simply overindulging every now and then, being a stress eater. It is very distinct from that. Now that you have a better understanding of the diagnostic criteria, you may be asking to yourself, just how common is this in the United States? Well, surveys and estimates show that about 5 million women and 3 million men in the United States are dealing with binge eating disorder, and in all likelihood, this is a huge and gross underestimate in my opinion, okay? Now, look, I think many of you out there are saying to yourselves, well, is the binge eating caused by other mental health issues like depression, anxiety, or does this cause depression, anxiety? Which came first, the chicken or egg? Yeah, that's a difficult question to answer, but you're right. Oftentimes, binge eating disorder isn't happening alone in isolation. Usually there are other mental health issues happening at the same time, okay? And they kind of feed into each other. So look, there was a national survey done in individuals who are struggling with binge eating disorder, and they found that close to about 1/3 were also dealing with major depressive disorder. All right, close to 1/3 or more were dealing with various anxiety disorders as well. So again, in all likelihood, it's quite common that you're dealing with this and struggling with other mental health issues at the same time. Now, if you are struggling with binge eating disorder and are also overweight or obese, you are also at higher risk for a number of medical conditions like diabetes type 2, heart disease, high cholesterol, high blood pressure. Okay, so this is why it is very important to identify binge eating disorder and seek appropriate treatment, because there are going to be emotional, mental, and physical consequences if this is not dealt with in a timely fashion. So in terms of that, what is the primary treatment? Most people seek treatment through psychotherapy or counseling. Okay, so therapy or counseling with a medical and nutritional component kind of built in and combined with that. So again, it has to be a holistic approach. Everyone's road to recovery is going to look a little bit different than the next, but in general, it's going to be therapy, counseling mixed in with medical care and a nutritional component. All right. So I hope you found this very quick, lightning round overview of binge eating disorder helpful, and I hope that it gives you a better perspective that it's not simply having episodes of overindulging or overeating every now and then, but this is its own distinct disorder with its own distinct criteria that we just reviewed. If you found this helpful, please like, please subscribe, please share. If you or someone you know is suffering from binge eating disorder, just realize there are effective treatments out there and there are resources for you to tap into. This is Dr. Andrew Kim. Until next time, please be happy, be well, be safe, everyone. Catch you in the next episode.